All right. Hello, everyone. Again, it's great to be here. I think it has been a great event so far. And we are almost there, but actually it was really great that I would want it to last longer. So I'm Ertugrul. I do product marketing at VMware. VMware is an advanced threat analysis and sandboxing company. So I'm most of the time in between business and technical side of things. So it's a good place to be in. And today my topic is around Sandbox and how to use Sandbox outputs via CTI mindset. So a little bit about me. I'm into I have spent my career most of the time with startups, scale-ups in cybersecurity for over 10 years. I got some entrepreneurship journey as well. I started my own company. It didn't go well, failed, but I have some good learnings. And previously, I worked for Socradar, a threat intel company as well. I like speaking, sharing stuff that I learn. And I'm obviously a learner also in the CTI space. And I like running. And I have 2+1 kids. As you can see, the +1 here, that we were on a ferry from Holland to the UK island. And if you ask this robot, it's kind of a clue how you can pronounce my name, R2. So, yeah. Yeah. So today we will talk about Sandbox, and our focus will be on a commodity malware, which is VIP keylogger. So I had my time to take a look at hundreds of Sandbox reports. So the Sandbox reports focusing on this specific malware. So I'm going to just share my kind of a mind map from where I started, where I have gone. Again, looking at the Sandbox reports outputs from like CTI mindset, how I can gather some insights. So that was kind of the idea, just, I wanted to share with you. So yeah, we will go through all the config extraction, and we will also do some pivoting as the time allows. And at the end, yeah, we're going to come up with some insights shares. Yeah, let's go. So a quick disclaimer. So these are my opinions, my slides. As you can see, there is no company logo or something. And I had a GitHub repo that, I'm sharing there all the links to the Sandbox report, so you can go check out. And obviously, the Sandbox we used here was the VMware one. So cloud instance is kind of one of the VMware's offerings on top of on-prem. And the samples were kind of from VirusTotal via Yara hunts. So, and our own threat feed portal, which is accessible to the public, we are sharing continuously the reports there. And yeah, with regards to Sandbox, typically what we see from organizations, they start this journey via actually instant response. So they have some samples they would like to analyze, they would like to see the behavior of the sample. So it's kind of most of the time manual, and most of the time specifically focusing on the analysis, and mainly by reverse engineers, malware analysts. And there are other use cases like detection and automation as well, to integrate Sandbox with an EDR or with a SOAR that it can analyze phishing emails and all the bad stuff in an automated way. There's also some use case around research that I'm also aware, for example, that Brightwell is doing a good job in this. So I'm a fan of their blog posts. There are also other companies, and as well as we at VMware, we have a labs team doing research with Sandbox Sandbox data. Today, as I said, it's kind of CTI, focusing on CTI, because typically CTI is coming actually on top of the SOC foundation. So most of the time, the organizations start the CTI journey with probably the time they spare from other activities, or the analysts, they can, probably spend time on it. So it requires some kind of, let's say, maturity, but most of the time resources. So it is kind of still not there yet. So that's why I wanted to highlight how you can use Sandbox for CTI people and that mindset. And the thing is, here the case is actually assuming that you have an RFI, a targeted RFI, to gather some insights around specific tradecraft, which will be a VIP keylogger. This is the typical, just to show you what you can expect from a sandbox for those of you who are not hands-on or not familiar. So kind of the high-level view. So there are specific sections that in each section actually there are some gems, some useful data that can be useful to satisfy this request, to reply to this request with some useful data. And the first thing to look at when we look at the Sandbox report is actually, as you can see in the this red square, is the verdict. So which is great, to have that verdict in the report as you first look. And when it is malicious especially, it is great, But for today, actually, it's not like, it doesn't, I'm not happy with that just to look at the verdict, because I would like to have insights actually. But in automation use case, it would be great, for example, to take quick actions around the verdict. For example, if there's an email that you gotta get back to the user as quick as possible, not to disrupt any operations, you gotta analyze the email and you wanna see if this is really malicious email or no. Another thing here, so as I submit the sample, I got the report, and I see here, actually, I was expecting VIP keylogger, because on my Yara hunt, it was a hit to VIP keylogger Yara rule. But here, actually interesting, there's another malware, which is GULoader, which is a downloader, actually, category. So that's good. That's a good input. And also, the name of the sample that I find is already starting to give me some clues. Like, for example, as you can see here, I'm not really familiar with Spanish, but it looks like Spanish. And also it looks like Turkish, my native language. Factura probably means something like invoice. And probably it is a campaign theme in this case. So where are the IOCs? So the juicy stuff. And this is by Will, our friend. So I find this meme relevant. So of course it would be good to have IOCs. And typically, as a threat intel analyst, probably the first thing you may want to check would be specifically the IOC section of the report. But as I look at it, I find, it's kind of disappointing because, there's not even an IP address, There's not too many domains or stuff. So I just see some files and some hashes. And so it's not kind of enough for me. I see here a URL, a Google, so I can understand that probably malware is using this, a legit infrastructure for something, for some reason, but still. And at the same time, I have in mind the pyramid of pain. I would like to go up through this pain, through this pyramid, not pain. So another section, actually the first thing that helps the Sandbox to classify malware is actually the Yara matches. And here, it's kind of the idea behind this slide was based on our previous analysis, actually somebody was able to create a Yara rule, so that right now actually we are able to catch at first that this sample is VIP keylogger. So this is, for example, showing kind of partially the match. You can see there are some function strings. And one other thing is actually based on runtime memory, so memory dumps. So these are these have been identified, these similar strings. So that's kind of good to have this data, because we are, as part of replying to that RFI, probably in that report, we would want to give some detection clues to the detection engineers. So this is kind of how it works. So good data. And the process tree. So in order, and as we can see in the middle, PowerShell, and there are some other executables as well. And at the end, actually, we know that VIP keylogger got executed. I just had a quick visit to VT, kind of a partial pivot. And what I know, actually, what I wanted to see was if there is any execution parent for this file. And the thing is, yes, there was. So actually, this is another clue that in the campaign, they probably used an email. And attached to that email, there was a RAR attachment. So, the user just clicked all of the things, and at the end, got infected. So, continuing on with the behavioral markers that I have seen on the sandbox. Here, actually, my question is why there is bootloader, right? It was a keylogger sample. Actually, this explains why there is bootloader. Because bootloader's only job, only focus is really get past the security tools, sandboxes, and it can employ anti-analysis, and evasion tricks. And it's here what we can see. And I'm not going into the details of this, but bootloader is kind of making the space ready for VIP keylogger. And here we can see the obviously keylogger's main activities like reading sensitive mail data. So we understand that keylogger is especially after stealing the mail credentials, and as well as the sensitive browser data. That means autofill, passwords, everything recorded in the saved in the browsers. So more into the gems. As part of the report, we have malware config extraction data, and there are actually two configs since there are two malware, bootloader and VIP keylogger. For bootloader, this is its only job. It's kind of a shell code, highly obfuscated, and it's just the point for bootloader is to access to this Google Drive link and download the payload that would ultimately end up with VIP keylogger infection. And with regards to sandboxes, actually, there's one thing good. When you see such a link, actually, it's not passive. Actually, it can go automatically to that link and download the payload, so you can have some details around it. Although it seems here that it looks like clean because it's part of the whole attack chain, but still, it's good that you don't have to submit it again, or you don't have to interact with it. So actually, Sandbox already automated, move around and managed to find that payload, which was needed for malware to run properly, so that we ended up with VIP keylogger execution and this malware config data. And from here, it's getting really interesting, kind of, because when I look at that, I see that there is an SMTP exfiltration going on, and actually there is username password data, so credentials. And when I look at that, it can easily be seen that this kind of looks like a legitimate domain here. So here, as you can see, and there's a Gmail address, which is probably the attacker using this mail server is forwarding this stolen data to his own brand new Gmail address. And from here, actually, CTI mindset says, also based on the reports that I reviewed, I have seen that this kind of a pattern for VIP keylogger samples. So there are a lot of legit domains that VIP keylogger, this malware is using. And there's kind of a question how the attacker managed to get all these credentials around legit mail servers. This was kind of the question. And also, I'm also noting down that there are some interesting mail addresses like logistics, info, expo. So it's not like personal mail address. So they were not after one, specific, email. So it doesn't seem random. So it triggers me a thought like, maybe the mail server all got compromised so that they were able to access these email accounts or what? So this was the hypothesis. And actually, I wanted to check out if this is, the case. And I found out this vulnerability of Roundcube mail servers. I didn't find the vulnerability, but I found that it's published. So, and every year it seems that there's a pattern, there's a critical one, and it's very easy to exploit, understand what's going on. So I went ahead and checked out, for example, this domain on FOFA. So I managed to also do the same query for some other domains. And actually, there are similar findings, but not really all of them. So at the end, actually, my conclusion was it was InfoStealer. And now, actually, I used another pivot point. I used the free edition of SOCRadar, and actually, there are reference to this domain. So it was, again, InfoStealers. So from there on, actually, I would like to get some insights around, how I can make this more useful for detection engineers. And when you actually query a hash in VirusTotal, you can get some sigma rule matches, and that's kind of available in the free edition. And one of the matches, actually, it's a good one, is the high severity one. So script execution from temp folder. And actually, as you can see from Sandbox data, you could see the command line, the PowerShell command, and here actually this got matched. So the executable run from temp folder, and this was kind of a good one, a match for the existing sigma rule. And again, it's from learning perspective, how to make use of Sandbox data kind of approach I have. And the second thing, I was just looking to see if there is something not found yet. So actually, I found one, which is another network connection that I got from the report. There's an IP lookup, really free GeoIP, and it wasn't available somehow in the crowdsourced sigma rules. And what you can do is, when you have such a finding, you can always, just go ahead and create your own sigma rules. And actually, first I checked on VirusTotal if it is really malicious, and it seems like it's really malicious. And then by using some LLM, sigma rule generator, I was able to generate a sigma rule. Of course, this is some basics, some easy thing, but still it can give you an idea on how to use it. And I shared the TTPs also on the GitHub repo for VIP keylogger. But it's also good to have this visibility. As you analyze more samples, you will probably have some patterns, and that will be a win. So most of the insights here I was able to communicate during the presentation. But one other thing is the industry focus. I have seen that there is a focus around especially logistics, manufacturing, construction. And one thing to highlight is about the supply chain risk. So this is a very, common out there, and small firms, they are very exposed to this kind of risks, and they are making business. They are doing business with bigger firms. So it's always kind of good to know, keep in mind this type of supply chain risks exist out there. And the takeaways, again, this was kind of a roundup of insights from VIP keylogger specifically. If you would like to go one step further to attribution, it's a good start, because when you look at actually a well-known model, diamond model, actually you're kind of having clues around infrastructure and capability. So two corners of the diamond model, which would probably connect you to adversary. So yeah, in my opinion, this is kind of a malware kind of tell the real best stories, of course with the help of different tools. And in this presentation, I wanted to mention some of them, which are mostly free, not Sandbox, unfortunately. But of course, it's kind of every pivot actually kind of is curiosity driven, and kind of Sandbox could be a good starting point. Hopefully you find it useful. And one last note, I found this meme kind of very relevant, but commodity malware is still a thing that we need to take a look at. And so it's not always the APTs and sophisticated threats kind of. So this is very easy to access for cyber criminals. Yeah, that was it from me. Thank you so much. I will be around if you have questions.